Bonjour, Kinamagi and Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to our penultimate edition of our Weeks at a Glance, featuring week 38. As always, we'll begin on our classroom stream page. And this video is being recorded on Friday morning, the 27th. So we'll be touching base on some things for today as well, and then focusing on the early part of next week. There will be a video sent out Wednesday, maybe Thursday of next week with our final edition and our final newsletters that'll be going home with detailed information about events such as graduation. As always, if you need to, or a student needs to contact me, they can do such by clicking the link. You can also use mireland@sagchip.org, as that will send it right to my school email as well. I do use a Google Voice account. If you are texting me with this, please include your name and your student's name. If you don't tell me who your student is and it's a generic question, I may not reply, or at least not to your satisfaction, because I do practice confidentiality even in that realm. We have this week's newsletter, which we'll touch on in just a moment in today's episode. A note that went home for yearbook sales, last week's learning plan, and an old newsletter. Also the bikes for kids, which I did not bring up again. But if you're interested in recommending a student to win a bike, here is a note on it. This note went home a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. Still seems like a cool program. The May breakfast and lunch menu, which we have about 1 day left in that. And also information on Mount Pleasant Middle School. I do have more copies of this paper here, the 6th grade enrollment form. Those of you that have turned them into me, those 3 have already been turned into our advocate over at the Mount Pleasant Middle School, that was Miss Gloria. She will be someone your student should get to know, as she works in the Native American room. If you need a new copy of this, please email me at mireland@sagchip.org, and I would be more than happy to send another one home with your student today or any other day you need it in the short term. It does sound to me like they're beginning to start getting these inputted. So if your student particularly wants one of these classes, the quicker you get it in, the more likely they are to get the class they want. So let's go into this week's newsletter. A scheduling note, there is no school on Monday, May 30th in recognition of Memorial Day. And also there's a half day on Friday, which is June 3rd. That's our graduation day. As is the case with all half days, lunch will be served, and students who normally ride the bus to the gym after school should be picked up at the academy at noon. As I mentioned, there are some events coming on. Wednesday is SCA Field Day. I strongly encourage parents and guardians to check the weather that morning. If it's going to be warm, your students should dress accordingly. Early forecasts suggest that it's going to be rather warm, temperatures in the upper 80s to 90 degrees. Would not be a good day to wear a sweatshirt or a hoodie and sweatpants. I have heard rumors that some of the activities could involve water, so a change of clothes could be brought with them as well if the student would not like to be wet the rest of the day. I don't have the full rundown of that schedule at this moment, but it's just things that I hear and past experiences of going home wet myself. On Thursday is the SCA Powwow. It's an annual event that we spend about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the afternoon, doing our traditional dances and recognizing our graduates, which is our class, and having a little bit of cultural fun. On Friday is 5th grade graduation. All students are invited to, and their parents and guardians are invited. We'll get you more information. I'm going to send a newsletter Wednesday, no later than Thursday, that has it down to the hour of what we're doing and all of those little details that are always subject to change. That'll go home in my next newsletter. Like I said, Wednesday or Thursday of next week, preferably Wednesday. So that you have some time to plan. If you have any questions, you can either contact the front office or you can email me at mireland@sidechip.org. If you're getting this video, you probably already received these emails. If you're just getting the paper copy for the first time, well, you can always let me know, like, hey, Mr. I, add me to the Google Classroom as the parent or guardian so that I receive these emails. Do encourage your students to participate and enjoy these last few days of elementary school. It should be a fun time. It's also a scary time for some. This is their last days of their academic home for the last 6 years, 7 years in many cases. And it can bring in some anxiety. Encourage students to have a little fun and enjoy these last days because it will be a different experience when they get to the middle school next year. Masking in the classroom, it continues to not be mandatory. It is encouraged, however, as we try to avoid community spread within our classroom community. And any student that is expected to by you, the parent or guardian, and you want to make sure that I'm following up with that, you can email me at mireland@sidechip.org, and I'm more than happy to give them the reminders. Yearbooks, there is a mention of that. You'll see a document here in a moment. So I'll come past that. And what are we learning? We're in a wrap-up phase. In math, we've been working on some 6th grade material, which is really a review and just a few deeper understandings of some topics that was touched on in 5th grade. I do encourage students to review their other skills. We are giving last chance assessments next week for students an opportunity to earn 3s on the report card. Grades will be inputted no later than Monday, the 6th. So the quicker they show it to me, more likely I am to tell them about their grade before they leave. Language arts, we're same thing, looking at some of our skills throughout the year and giving some chances to show what they know. Social studies, we're covering public issues and also kind of reviewing our citizenship. We'll have last minute assessments with that next week. It'll feel a little bit like high school with a little finals week or middle school, although that's not the focus, but it's going to feel that way. Science, same thing. Electronics, remember, all electronics should be turned off and submitted to the front office during the school day. If they have it on them and I take it, you will have to pick it up. Looking at our yearbook sale, your students should have received a copy of this, but if you need another one, please let me know and I'd be more than happy to print one and send it home. For $15, you can purchase a hardcover yearbook. You can turn in the order form with cash payment to the SCA office. Your student can do that, or you could bring it on in. If you have any questions, you can call the school's front office at 989-775-4453. The order form is here as well. If you want to make sure that your student drops it in the office, you can always check with me. I'd be more than happy to ask there. Looking at our learning plan, you can see there's no school on Monday, but as always, I recommend students read for 20 minutes. And you can see throughout the week, there's a math. We're going to do a lesson each day, all the way through the end. I'm a big proponent of encouraging students to finish strong, and we'll keep learning because there's always things that we can do to be more prepared for the next school year. And you can see that a lot of things here are other assessments, chances to show what they know. Wednesday, we have field day, so there's not a lot of academics throughout the day. Thursday afternoon is dedicated to powwow, and Friday, realistically, there's about an hour of academics, and then the rest is graduation related activities and getting ready for that event. And we'll get more information on that as well. Next week's episode will feature a discussion on opportunities to work on different skills over the summer. A lot of our online content I do keep provided and open, and I'd be more than happy to answer questions to your students. For your students, if they're like, Mr. I forgot my login, more than happy to look that up. I do not go into radio silence on June 4th. Because your students need that. So when I send the next newsletter, I'll provide a list inside that newsletter of some different things that they could work on. There's also the Neaving program. Its space is still available. They do a little bit of academics and a lot of cool field trips. If you're interested in that, check the second newsletter on the classroom stream. There's a contact information for Deb Smith at the K-12 department. She is the organizer and head of that. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to her, or you can call the education offices as well. Being today is Friday, we have a field trip today. We'll be visiting Craig's Cruisers. The permission slip must be turned in for them to go. And it should be a good time. The nature of a field trip that's going to push a place that opens at noon, it is likely, I'm waiting for a little more information, so you might want to check your texts throughout the day from the front office, that it would be more likely to be a parent drop-off and not a bus drop-off today. We'll try to make sure that that information is out to you as quickly as possible. Students will not be able to use their phones while in the van, but if you're a parent, a guardian that wants to send the phone with the student, then you're more than welcome to, but I'm going to be the one holding on to it, and they won't have access to it during the school day. One of the activities at Craig's Cruisers is a jump station. If they are engaged in that, they will need to purchase jump socks if they don't already have some from the local jump station. Those are, I believe, $3 a pair according to the website. And so we will allow students to bring money. However, here, the staff, we're not going to be holding on to anyone's money. And if they lose it, they're kind of out of luck. So we want to make sure that you don't think, oh, yes, we're going to have an envelope. That's not how that is going to work. We're aware that traffic is kind of one of those things. It's a holiday weekend. So, like I said, we will do our best to keep parents and guardians updated. If you have a specific question to me about arrivals back home, you can email me at mireland@sagchip.org. I will have my phone available to reply to your email as soon as I see it. Or you can send a Google Voice message and I'll check those as well. And that number again is in the classroom stream. It's hard to believe that we are in our last week of school coming up here today. And so in next week's episode, we'll wrap up. We don't want to start getting all sentimental a week away yet, but I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday weekend and that it's safe for everyone. After today's fun, I look forward to seeing all of our students for their last week of 5th grade on Tuesday. So everyone have a minute, Gijigad. Meanwhile, I'm up here.